Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new Division video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some possible weapon nerfs and buffs for the Division in Update 1.8. The reason why I say possible is because they're not actually 100% confirmed yet. They're on Reddit. You guys know that I'm always lurking and just chilling on Reddit, looking at stuff, see what people are saying and commenting on. And I saw this and I thought I would make a video about this because I think if these weapons are specifically nerfed and buffed, I think what the Division is trying to make us do is they're trying to open a window for new specific PvE and PvP weapons and builds and whatnot that they want people to use, because we obviously all know right now in the game, basically for the past like 4 or 5 updates now, it's basically the same 2 or 3 SMGs and basically the same 2 or 3 assault rifles and the same like 1 or 2 shotguns and sniper rifles as well. And there's basically this category of weapons that just sit there and collect dust in everyone's inventories, whether or not they're a high-end weapon or an exotic. And for the most part, those weapons are usually never used. If they are, it's just for sort of like a showcase weapon video or something that people make videos about. But yeah, other than that, most people don't use the other weapons that are really bad or just people don't like in general. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you guys do, make sure you guys drop a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I also apologize that I haven't uploaded Division in a while. The new Call of Duty just came out like 4 or 5 days ago, and I've been playing that a shit ton. So that's the reason why you guys have seen some Call of Duty videos on the channel. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to say, make sure you guys throw it down below in the comment section. But yeah, let's get right to the video. So quickly, want to talk about all the weapon buffs and nerfs that are possibly happening in 1.8. I threw some of them off of the list for the buff side because most of them were exotic weapons, and some of them that were even getting maybe 4, 5, 6% damage increase for the exotic weapons. I didn't really think it would make that much of a difference, and people probably still wouldn't run them on builds, so that's the reason why I didn't put them on there. But first off, going on the nerf side, the lightweight M4, police M4, LVOAC, any lightweight M4 or M4 that has a variant in the game is going to be getting a 3.8% weapon nerf, I guess you can say, for the base damage of the weapon. Next, we have all the MP5 variants are also going to be getting another nerf, which is going to be a 4% reduction for the base damage. MP7 is also getting a 4.7% damage reduction for the nerf. And then lastly, the big one, I'm not really sure why they did this. I don't really think that this is like a big PvP weapon, at least from my standards. I use this weapon a lot for PvE specifically, but I guess they thought maybe this was even too good for PvE. But lastly was the pecan. It's getting a 8% base damage reduction. I'm not sure why they came up with that percent of 8%. It's really, really high for me, but I guess we'll have to deal with it, and we'll have to see how good it is when 1.8 actually comes out. And then for the 3 weapons that I put for buffs, the Warlord, it's a weapon that I really don't see all that used that much, to be honest with you guys. I have it, I don't really use it. I've never found a reason to use it, to be honest, so I'm not exactly sure how much of, how much useful it's going to be for 1.8. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The Hungry Hog is going to be getting a 2% increase for the damage. And then lastly, the Caduceus is going to also be getting a 6% increase as well. Like I said before previously, there's going to be more weapons if you guys want to check them out. I'll post the Reddit thread link in the comment section so you guys can click on it. But like I said before, there's more weapons. I just didn't throw them on there because I really didn't feel as if the weapons would even still be useful, even with the buffs or the nerfs that they're making to some of the specific weapons. So what I take away from all this for the buffs and all the nerfs for 1.8 that are going to be incoming, I think what they're trying to make us do is, as a community, as a player for the Division, I think they're trying to get all of us to explore with new weapons and new gear set combos for 1.8 because, like I said previously in the beginning of the video, obviously you guys know by now that basically it's sort of like a 5 to 6 weapon meta in the game right now for 1.7.1. Basically since the last like 3 or 4 updates, it's basically been, the MP7, the MP5, some form of a variant of the M4, whether or not it's a lightweight LVOAC or police M4. And then you have maybe a urban MDR, maybe one other sniper, and a bullfrog, I guess you can say, if you like that gun. But other than that, that's basically about the 4, 5, 6 weapons that basically every person on a casual basis uses, whether or not it's PvE or PvP. I would probably say like 85 to 95% of the population in this game most likely probably has at least one of those weapons that I just named off on one of their builds, if not all of their builds for the most part. And the reason why I say that is because obviously these weapons are going to be getting some form of a nerf, and then obviously most of the exotic weapons are going to be getting some form of a buff. And with these nerfs to some of, I guess you could say, the generic weapons that everyone uses in the game right now, I think that it sort of helps raise, some of these weapons that really haven't been used basically since the beginning of the game, maybe the first month or two of the game, because people really didn't know that much about it, didn't know weapons were the best. And I have a list of weapons that I think that could be possible factors for new weapons and builds and whatnot. The first one is the ACR. The ACR has always been a really, really, really accurate gun in this game. It's had, fairly medium range. And fairly medium damage as well for the weapon. But it's really never been a weapon that really everyone's really wanted really, really badly. It's just sort of been, in the mid tier for weapons, whatnot. Next is the G36. The G36 was more of a really, really good weapon when it was first introduced with the DLC into the game. A lot of people started figuring out that it was really good, and they basically just nerfed it to the ground and put it in the grave right when the DLC was introduced. Next is the P416. I started using this gun a lot on specific builds for PvP, and I really wasn't doing all that bad. Specifically because I bought some blueprints and some specific weapons from the advanced weapon vendor when 1.7 first came out. And then lastly is the Scar-L. That's probably a weapon that most of you guys probably don't even know about in this game or use a lot. But I just thought that since it's a fully automatic weapon, it's got decent fire rate, it's pretty accurate as well for the most part. I think that these four weapons could definitely be weapons to look out for in 1.8. Like I said, we don't know specifically all these weapon buffs and nerfs until they actually release 1.8. We actually see the physical, patch notes. But from right now, obviously, Reddit is probably usually a pretty credible website for the most part. I'd probably say like 80 to 90% of the time, it's usually pretty credible. And most of the stuff they say is usually pretty on point or pretty close to what they're going to be doing for update or just in general on what they're going to be doing to the game. But like I said, those are the four main weapons that I think could have some, reinsurgence and just coming back with a vengeance for 1.8 for people that might want to try out those weapons. If you guys have any recommendations on what weapons you guys are going to be trying for 1.8, or if you guys are just going to be on the side of the same people using the same old weapons every single day, but mainly I want to get from this is that it might open the window for some new weapons. It might not necessarily be the weapons I just talked about. It could be, specifically new exotic weapons that they're adding into the game, or any other high-end snipers, shotguns, SMGs, anything else that you guys might not think of right now that might be introduced for 1.8 that might come back with a resurgence, like I said. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment down section below. But other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. I apologize once again for not having that many Division videos lately. I've just been grinding and having so much fun playing the new Call of Duty. But if you guys want to catch me live, I'll be streaming probably today or tomorrow later, though, at the day, probably like 9 or 10 o'clock. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.